Okay, hi guys, welcome back to Media on the Rocks. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into our last video, all the love and support. You guys really came through. Woo-hoo. Media on the Rocks to the moon.
To the moon.
We're on the rise,
to the
baby.
moon. Look out, Dogecoin. No, anyways. I'm once again joined by my co-host. Just wanted to say co-host. Mike, Trevor, and
Hello.
Parker. I'm
How's it
Ashton
going?
as usual. Today we are covering Invincible, Amazon Prime's new series. Pretty gruesome, hence the Bloody Marys we are drinking today. Don't forget to click subscribe too, very important. We will be doing our hot take after this, but I think other than that, we are ready to go. Here we go. Alrighty, well, today we're having our very first hot take. This is going to be a continuing segment for us.
Love hot
We
takes.
always have hot takes. We always have very heated discussions, so might as well put it on camera for the world to see. Are we doing my hot take, or do you guys have a different one?
I think we're down for yours.
I think it's relevant since it's coming back, and why? My hot take is that Friends is absolute trash, okay? It's garbage.
That is
it's
a
hot
spicy take.
garbage, all right? I just
Yeah.
feel like there's better shows out there. I watched the whole thing through and through. I gave it my full attention. I really tried. It's not good.
So you don't think it's good at all?
I don't think it's good
You
at
don't
all.
think it's funny?
I
You
think
don't
it's
think
cheap.
it's-
I think it's just they went easy. They went so easy with it. The acting isn't that great. Love Jennifer Aniston. She wasn't good in it.
I'm not like a big Friends fan at all. I mean, I've barely ever seen it, and I think that's kind of a sign that it's, not good enough to hold my interest from what I have seen. But what I would say just to push back on that is like, you did finish it.
Exactly.
Because I was like, there has to be a point where I'm like, I get it. And I kept expecting to hit that point. I wanted to give it my full undivided attention. I wanted to give a full run at it. Because you can't say something's good if you watch 20 episodes out of 80.
Yeah.
I don't know how many episodes
Yeah.
there are.
I mean, from what
I
I've seen,
fucking tried.
I didn't actually watch all of it, but from what I've seen of it, like there were parts where I was laughing. Like we were
Yeah,
watching it last
but
night,
just because
and like,
you laugh at little bits, is
like,
it
it
good?
was funny.
No.
But I mean,
like-
it's a
I
sitcom.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're not there for like
Exactly.
a serious
But
plot. You're there
you
for
have
funny,
Seinfeld out
stupid
there?
moments. You're there for
That's
like
fucking
this is
funny.
obviously like stupid, but it's great.
Listen, you guys are all wrong. I'm just going to
No, there's so much great
Yeah,
about
Technical
that.
I don't
difficulties
know.
this
I don't
whole
know
thing.
how
I want to hear what Mike has to say, because I know
I
for
know
a fact
Mike
that you
likes
like
it.
Friends.
I
so
love Friends.
Jump in
I
on
grew
this.
up with Friends. And so it's one of those things that's very nostalgic for me. And I love the chemistry between the characters. I thought they were really great. Joey is a standout for me. He's, the basis for my comedy, like, enjoyment.
Oof.
He was just one of those characters that was just like,
Might want to find a
awesome.
different base.
What? He's so goofy and just the lovable character of the show.
But-
As someone
but
who's
that's-
only
too
seen
seriously.
Friends inside auto shops while my truck is getting worked on,
Pretty much my experience. as
Joey
well.
and is it
Phoebe?
Chandler.
Oh,
Chandler's
I
great.
could see them going on some wacky adventures together.
Oh,
they
yeah,
seem like they
absolutely.
get
They're
along.
just
I mean,
two bros, just hanging
Yeah.
out, doing
I
ridiculous
will say
things.
though, I know that like
I can't
At
believe
least-
none of you agree with me.
at
I
least
thought
no,
for
no,
sure
I
at
agree.
least-
I don't think it's a good show, but I don't like you said like you
I
have
just
to.
don't get the cult behind it. Everything is friends. Like, it's
I-
just not that. There's no. They're like throwing substance into it that's not there.
See, I
That's how I
agree
feel.
with that part of it. It's like my stance on Star Wars, which I'm sure we'll do one day.
Oh no.
But it's like
Like-
my
So ready for
stance
that.
on Star Wars. It's like I don't think it's nearly as good as everyone says it is.
Mike's like,
I think it's fine. I think it's like an acceptable show. Like I said, when it's on, I have a laugh when it's on. But I don't think it's like cult worthy. I can agree with that part of your hot take.
yeah.
I
I don't
can agree
get
with
cult
the
behind
fact
it.
that it's overrated, but trash. I just don't think I have enough experience with the show to go one way or another.
I have so much
I
experience.
don't think I would call it trash though.
I don't think I would call it
I
trash.
don't-
I definitely wouldn't call it trash.
I don't think it'd be good.
Listen, if I still had cable and I was clicking through the channels and it was literally just infomercials or that, I'm watching infomercials. It's just not. I
I mean,
don't
that was
get
literally my experience last night, flipping through the channels, infomercials and Friends. I chose Friends.
it. Wow.
So
Would
All right.
how would you put it up to like How I Met Your Mother? I love How I Met Your Mother.
See, that's what I'm saying.
See,
like
I
that is a
haven't seen
sitcom.
that.
They did such an
No? I
amazing
know.
job.
But like How I Met Your Mother, like also was later. It learned from
Yes, I
Like-
guess, but like I just feel like if you're gonna have such a big cult following and everybody's gonna love it so much, like it's gotta have something different. It doesn't. It's literally just a cheap, easy 1 plus 1
that's
equals
the
2
90s though, right? Like
sitcom.
I was
that
gonna say,
is
that-
what
But
that
not
time
necessarily.
period is.
You
isn't
have
it?
Seinfeld, and Seinfeld has that something. It
Never
has that
watched Seinfeld.
pizzazz.
So that's
You
kind of
need
what
to watch
Seinfeld's
Seinfeld.
thing is, and if you like listen to the writers and like Jerry Seinfeld himself, it's a very like they're kind of doing a bit on the sitcom. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you're talking about characters that are like almost easy to hate. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like, you love them for what they are, but they're not like good people.
They're just I just don't like the emptiness. I guess I like more of like a depth to a character. It doesn't even have to be a lot. Doesn't have to be a whole lot at all.
But it's a
But
sitcom,
they were just
sitcom.
you know what I mean? They're just like here's your script. It's like if you do like a one-shot D&D and you're like I'm not really attached to this character, but like I'm playing him. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it felt to me. But not even as good as a one-shot because at least you have fun and imagination. Imagination.
All right.
But yeah, so as for
That's my
hot
hot
take,
take.
I disagree with your hot take.
Okay.
I think that Friends isn't trash.
Yeah.
I
feel
don't
it's-
think you defended
I
yourself
feel at the
well
very
enough.
least it's watchable
What?
and entertaining for
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah, it's
like it's
watchable.
not my favorite show ever,
Yeah.
but I'll watch it.
What's your opinion on her hot take?
I mean, I think that I don't
Oh,
have.
he's
the,
trying to be nice.
I don't
he's
have
trying to be
no,
nice
no.
because I'm his girlfriend. He's like,
I don't have the right
couch
like
tonight.
with the amount
like,
of friends that I've seen to really steer one way or another. I think you're probably right. I think if I sat through, no. I think that if I sat
brownie
through and
points
watched,
are marked.
No, no, no.
Literally just
No.
said it's not trash,
no,
and then
I
he
said-
retracts his words
I
when he
don't
sees how
think-
sad
I
Ashton
don't
is.
think that it's
I
like
love it.
trash
What?
from what I've seen, but I do think that if like in some world where I had to sit down and watch all of it, I would probably come out saying it's trash.
It was rough. I literally had to like force myself to do it, and it was just not
Like
that
I
great.
have the
It's time I'll
the
never get
benefit
back.
of not having to sit through the whole entire series. So from that point, I don't think it's trash right now. But if I had to spend hours of my life watching it,
Hours
probably
that
hate
you'll
it.
never
I mean,
get
I have
back.
to spend hours of my life talking to Ashton, and I can still get through that. So I mean, Friends is definitely better than that.
Ouch.
all right, let us know. Leave a comment. Who are you siding more towards, like Mike's side of actually liking it, Ashton's side of
If
thinking
you
it's
do,
hot
we'll just
garbage,
make sure you guys are just booted
or
off.
me and Trevor, the brave centrists here.
It's definitely our
Brave
side.
central-
Oh
okay,
yeah, for sure. If we're agreeing on something, it's because it's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I'm never
Sure.
wrong. So
Sure. All right. Well, on that note, I think we'll dive straight into Invincible.
yeah,
That's why we're here. We're running very behind schedule. It took us 9 million years to record the making of these Bloody Marys we're drinking today. We are very new to everything.
Yeah. Should we
That's
toast it up before we?
Let's
yeah,
toast it
definitely,
up.
Absolutely.
A bloody drink.
Oh, gosh.
For
that-
Bloody
So-
Marys are definitely not my drink, so it's
Yes.
a nice bang for me.
We just thought with all the gore in Invincible, this was tasteful. you know?
Fitting, yeah.
Very fitting.
I think it fits right in.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler-free section, yeah.
Spoiler free.
Yeah, just a few minutes
Yeah.
and then jump into all the really gritty shit.
Do you want to give us
Yeah,
a
start us
lowdown
off.
of a quick review of what it's about, spoiler-free?
Sure. This is a show that's definitely it's a comic series too, and it seems like the whole thing reeks of kind of being like a Justice League inspired show. Is it spoiler? I mean, we've already kind of mentioned the bloody
gore.
aspect.
I don't think it's,
it's
yeah.
spoiler. Okay,
I mean,
so-
in the clips they show.
It's trying to compete with The Boys for for like goriest superhero
It's a
show I've
strong
ever seen.
contender, let me say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a show that's got a lot of like moral grayness to it. The characters are all great. Like every single character is awesome. I think the side characters kind of make the show. There's some who like aren't, quite up there, like Mark's circle of friends, I think.
Yeah.
But everyone in the new Guardians of the Globe, Titan is awesome. The Mayhem twins, just
They're
great.
so good.
The Mauler
Yeah.
twins.
Mauler twins, sorry. Mauler twins are awesome. Yeah, I think the characters are really good on the show. The animation it's not into the Spider-Verse. It's not going to like blow you away.
No, that was
with-
definitely my least favorite part of the whole show is the
But I feel
the
like there's a
animation in general.
reasoning behind it. It looks like old school Justice League.
Oh, you didn't like
Yeah.
the animation of
It looks like
Invincible?
Young
Yeah.
Justice, which is
not huge fan of it.
Really?
There are a lot of moments where I'm like, this is really like poorly, cheaply done.
I kind of liked it. I
moments.
kind of liked that it looked like it was just literally lifted off the comic page. I really liked
feel
that.
like it's like the Volkswagen of animation.
Mm,
Like it's gonna get you there.
I
You
like
know,
that.
you can't really say it's bad, but it's not. It's
reliable.
not
It's
sexy.
there's nothing. Yeah, there was nothing like exciting about the animation.
Yeah, there's nothing that's like, whoa, that is really.
There were some
striking.
moments where it was cool. Don't get me wrong, but like overall, like there was a lot of.
I wonder if
mundane
most of
moments.
their money. Well, it's Amazon though. I was gonna say if most of their money went to the voice actors, but
I think it was a choice. I think they wanted this to look like a show that you
Yeah.
remember watching
but
as
you
a
know
kid.
what?
Mhm.
I will say the animation, and I mean this is still spoiler free, but the animation where it did matter was with the gore.
Yeah,
They made
yeah.
that very, very graphic, very visceral.
And I
they-
think that
they
that
put their money into
strikes
that.
you more because of the way it looks
Yeah.
without it.
And it
I
was
can see
probably
that.
intentional that way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it was intentional, but like, at the same time, I'm
I
not going
liked
to
the
come out and say it's
background.
fantastic animation.
Like when they show the cityscapes, it makes me think of Legend of Korra, like very similar to that.
So good.
Love the light reflecting. I mean, even at some point when they're in Chicago, you said that it looked real. It looked like a real
the buildings
city.
and the skylines look like.
You were like, are they just
actually real.
superimposing
Yeah.
this?
But
Yeah, first impressions without spoilers.
Yeah, first impressions, like you said, like the first episode you're watching it, you're like, okay, what exactly like is the point of this show? Like I've seen this 100 times.
Yeah.
And then you get they pull the Marvel on you,
Mm.
and they do wait till after the credits, and that first after the credits scene is really what pulls you in hardcore. So my first impression was it was fantastic.
Yeah.
First episode, great.
I really loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything, Mike? Any spoiler-free stuff you want to?
After that first episode, I was so sucked in, I had to watch the rest of it. And so just based off of that alone, I think it's worth watching.
And you did it pretty in like, because it's 8 episodes. You did like 4 episodes,
Yeah, I
right?
binged it in 2 sessions. And so, it caught my attention for
I think
sure.
that's kind of the way to do it because you have a minute to kind of rest on things. So
I went
like, at
straight
that
through it. I
halfway
think I did
point-
like 7 episodes.
Yeah,
in
we
one
went
day.
we went hard.
The last 4 episodes are awesome.
We were
Yeah,
happy to
yeah,
sit
yeah.
on our butts.
Every
all day.
single one of them. I mean, watching all 4 of those at once, I'm sure was a treat.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
I was epic.
It just
snacking,
escalated.
like-
Yeah. I ran out of snacks at some point.
Yeah. No, it's great. The plot's great.
Mhm.
The fact that they take so much inspiration from the Justice League is fantastic.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I love the violence of it.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
the characters' like moral ambiguity, the characters themselves. Watch it. Watch the damn show.
Watch
all
the
right?
show.
Go watch it. Come back. We'll tell you what's up.
Yep.
Watch all of this. Go watch the show. Come back. Watch it again. All right.
Agree with me on my hot take.
All right. So
Spoilers
spoiler
ahead.
section.
Dun, dun,
Yep.
dun.
Yeah. I was talking to Michael Sissy at work, and he was mad that
Shout
we
out.
spoiled Army of the Dead after we like spent multiple times
It
saying
literally
this
says
is
review.
spoilers.
This is a review.
This
Yeah.
is spoilers.
Didn't we say spoiler too?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Spoilers.
We'll
I
have
think
a
we
big
should-
red spoilers. Spoilers.
All right. I think an awesome part to start is like just the end of season 1,
Yeah, as episode 1.
episode 1,
Episode 1.
and
Yeah.
season 1.
Yeah.
Also 2 great endings, but episode 1 for sure is that's where you start talking about spoilers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the ending, like I was saying in that first, like the ending of that first episode is you're so not expecting that.
Mm.
Like to have him just go and just cut off the heads and like squish people's faces in and
Punch that girl through his entire arm. Where it's
so
like,
good,
oh,
so good.
Ugh.
Brutal. I love the just shink.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
When he's squeezing Red Rush's head. And
Oh
his
my
eye is
gosh.
like,
Ugh.
oh god.
And I love that it's like taking a minute too, because obviously like it's realistic, like it's a superhero versus a superhero.
Uh-huh.
And Red Rush is like crushing his eyes in. And you know what? What's kind of crazy is I think that Omni-Man could have totally easily just in a second. I mean, he showed us that he could
Oh,
do it in
yeah.
a second. And the fact that he didn't care that his eyes are getting pushed in, he's like, I'm going to drag this out even longer. How dare you fucking fight back?
Ugh.
Like, brutal.
And he's like
So
trying to
brutal.
like punch Omni-Man and his hands are like
Oh,
it's,
yeah,
like,
because he's
not,
punching him in
like-
the
His
chest.
hands are like breaking, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and
Yeah.
they're, like he just like doesn't have like the control to like make fists.
Uh-huh.
And oh my god.
So Red
it's
Rush
so
is like a
fucked
rip
up.
off of Flash. So
Mhm.
he's like high speed punching Omni-Man to try to get him to like not crush his skull in. And the whole time his hands are just getting mangled. And
Ugh.
I mean, before you know it, it's just wrist and like flapping arms. Like,
Ooh.
they really did a
It
good
was
job of
brutal.
like the human anatomy
Uh-huh.
and like knowing how breaks work.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Can you get a little closer to your mic? Sorry.
I think one of my favorite parts about the show in general also is like how they introduce villains. Like there's a whole episode on like this one villain, and then as we saw at the end, I know it's kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but at the end they go back and show every villain from each episode that they did and show how those people are gonna like come back later on in the show.
It
and
made me think of
matter
like a
more
thesis
later.
statement, you know, where you're like, we're going to cover this
Yeah,
and this and
exactly,
this. And
exactly.
you're
It's
like,
like
I
an
know where we're
outline. It's
going.
like, here we go. These are the people, and then
Yeah.
they do matter later, like we
Sorry.
saw. So it's like I really like that part of the show, actually.
And it
like-
really just gets you amped for season 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
When they're going
so
back and like
excited.
showing all of the stuff, you're like, that's right, dude. Like
Mhm.
Titan's unresolved. Like the Mars aliens are
The
unresolved.
Mars aliens were the
It looked
best.
like the
That was
the
my favorite part.
aliens that Omni-Man genocided are like looking for
the
him.
Flaxons.
Yeah,
The
the
Flaxons.
Yeah.
Flaxons. They
Yep.
had like his picture up and
Uh-huh.
like
Yep.
tracking him.
Yep.
Ugh, I am so looking forward to like a long-term like attempt for them to try to finally find him, and then he just rips them all to shreds
Oh,
again.
God. So brutal. Okay, so should we start with like kind of the main plot, I guess? Mark Grayson, who's the son of Omni-Man, he just kind of finds out that he's finally getting his powers. He's 18 years old. He's half human, half what is it? What are they?
It's been a while since I've seen
Viltrumite?
Yeah, Viltrumite.
Viltrumite. So he's half human, half Viltrumite. So
Which
family
we
didn't
learn
know.
is like all Viltrumite, basically. 'cause
Yeah.
their genes are so strong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we didn't know if he was going to get his powers. He finally gets them at 18, and it looks to Omni-Man, or like Omni-Man's reaction looks like it's almost kind of like throwing a wrench in things. And then from there, we just kind of see the family dynamic, and Omni-Man's morals just flick a switch. Starts getting real dark, real morbid, real frickin' quick.
Yeah, you can tell the whole time, the whole season, that he's bothered that Mark has his powers now and that it means something that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then obviously with the end of episode 1, it's so brutal. But what I like about what they did is that they didn't give you an answer for the entire season. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I wasn't a person who ever thought that, you know, maybe Omni-Man knew something about them and they were the evil ones. Like, it seemed pretty obvious that this dude was fucked up.
Yeah.
But that you didn't know exactly why he did it or why Mark having powers is a problem or really anything until the final episode. And it just really keeps you on your toes when you're watching through it.
Oh yeah, the whole time you just want to find out. You're like, is this the episode where I'm finally going to learn why it's happening? But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it adds like a loaded gun to the season where you're just like you're waiting for it to go off. You just know that eventually this has to like hit a head.
Mhm.
And it's awesome. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pretty brutal. Any other characters specifically that you guys really enjoyed?
All the side characters. I thought
Oh, yeah.
the best friend, Mark's best friend in high
Mhm.
school. I thought he was a great character. He's a good, little human factor to all
Yeah.
the superhero things going on.
Kind of like
And-
the comedic relief that you need.
Exactly,
Because it is
yeah.
dark. I mean, Mark's 17 years old. He's in high school. He's dealing with becoming a superhero.
Yeah.
Very lackluster training. I mean, let's say he's trained for
Yeah.
maybe 3 months, and he's already like fighting off whole hordes of aliens. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think that character
I
is
also
great.
enjoyed his love interest.
Yeah.
The
His side
girlfriend.
story.
The girlfriend.
Amber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amber. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was really cool. It was one of those things that showed the human aspect of Mark, where he's a kid. He has teenage
I
problems.
mean, what
and
17-year-old boys are thinking about?
exactly.
Getting
He's like
girls,
off saving the
getting
day.
ladies. Yeah.
And then he's got like a date in like 20 minutes that
Yep.
he's going to
Yeah.
be late for,
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so it kind of had like a Spider-Man feel to it where he's going to be late, but he has his priorities that he's got to, keep in check at the
Yeah,
same
he's
time.
trying to juggle all of these
Yeah.
things
Mhm.
at once.
And
was
he's
kind of
terrible
like-
at it.
Yeah. That was kind of like my low point of the
Yeah.
season was their relationship, just because like we're in a age now where we've seen superhero stuff so much to where
Yeah.
it's like when you have that, it's not even necessarily the show's fault, but it's like I've seen the whole
It's very
like
Spider-Man, Mary
will
Jane.
he or won't he
Mhm.
tell her
Mhm.
thing a million
And
times.
you know they're gonna tell.
Yeah,
but then
you
it's like
do.
too
It's
late.
like,
Yeah.
dude, just
The whole time I kept
Just do
thinking
it.
she was sus. I kept thinking she was like spying on
Yeah,
him
me
or
too.
that she's a superhero or something, because we've talked about this the whole time. She's talked about like what is it?
I thought that she was like a hacker.
Yeah, we thought she was a hacker for some reason.
Like I thought
can't
that she
even
had like a
remember why.
power to like manipulate technology because she like pulls up the photos from the bully
Yeah,
that like
that's
makes
right.
him like listen to her and
Hmm.
I don't know, just kind of like
Interesting.
all
And just
this.
how she was kind of like, oh, excuse me, like I'll be in the restroom for
yeah,
a
the
while.
first
and
time
just
that she
kind of
goes to his
like-
house, she like looks for an excuse to leave the
Uh-huh.
room and
and
be
like it's
alone
very
there.
clearly like, okay, so they in the show they explain away like how you don't notice superheroes because
Oh, God.
Omni-Man doesn't even wear a mask. Okay,
No,
like
and
most
he's
of them don't
flying
wear
in and
masks.
out of his backyard.
Flying in and out of his
Just-
backyard. I mean, the man's jawline alone, you would recognize
Absolutely.
that freaking anywhere. And they explain it away as like, if you don't expect to, go to school or live next door to a superhero, you're not gonna like see them there. So like, we don't have to wear a mask, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Kind of a weak excuse, but whatever, we'll roll with it. And I don't even remember where I was going with this, but maybe like it's very clearly Omni-Man's house. We were thinking maybe she's trying to like kind of like get in through the sun to like infiltrate Omni-Man. She might be from a
Yeah.
different planet,
Mhm.
something.
Mhm.
I still think she's sus. I think she's too sus.
I
don't know.
don't. I think I'm over it.
I
now.
kind of
Yeah,
hope
I
she's
think
sus
that- I
because
think it's
otherwise
just
it's
as
just
simple
kind of like a
as-
trope. And I'm like, oh, well,
Uh-huh.
all right.
Well, she could have been working with the government to just
Working
spy
with,
on
like,
Mark.
Cecil.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
But I
with
feel like we
Cecil.
would have seen that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
that's a season 2 like plot
Yeah.
twist that's happening later, I feel like that would have been revealed.
It could be some down
When she
the line
breaks
stuff.
up with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
probably.
Plus,
Yeah.
there's enough spies. They have invisible soldiers.
Yeah,
they can, I
exactly.
mean, they obviously spied on him from
Yeah.
across the street, and
Yeah.
so I don't think her character being a spy was really necessary. So
Yeah.
I kind of like that they kind of just kept her very gray.
The fact that they were spying on Omni-Man when they're like, because they obviously suspect him in the killing of the original Guardians of the Globe, and Cecil, the head of like this world's kind of like Agents of Shield kind of thing, like I don't know, like an optic of the
Nick
government.
Fury.
Yeah, he's basically Nick Fury in this. They're suspecting that Omni-Man has killed the original Guardians of the Globe, so they put up cameras and stuff in his house. They're observing him from across the street, which, if you watched this show, why would you think across the street is the way to go from fucking Omni-Man?
Right.
Listen, his name is Omni-Man, okay? Omni meaning all, overseeing, all powerful, like, bro, what? That was the
Yeah.
dumbest thing they
Not
could have
smart.
ever, like, get in a metal bunker, okay? What?
What is
Ugh.
what's Hellboy's name in this?
Darkblood.
Darkblood.
love
Damien
it.
Darkblood.
Love it.
I love when he like goes to Cecil and he's like, I think Omni-Man did it. And Cecil's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
We know that.
Like obviously
Like, who
Omni-Man
else
did
could
this.
slice and dice all of these like
Yeah.
this
like
brutal?
keep your mouth shut. I'm working here.
I love how they like sent him back to hell. That was like such a cool. Like
Oh, yeah.
imagine like the government just being like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. Like we're just gonna put you in this like salt pentagram and just send you
Oh, that
back
was-
to
that was a
hell.
really
You
cool
know,
part, yeah.
that was
That'll
very
full-blown
cool.
supernatural.
He'll be
and
Yeah.
back,
to
too,
hell.
for sure. I think.
Yeah,
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
he's gonna be another guy coming back in season 2.
Definitely.
I want to see
definitely.
more.
And then
he
that's
never
another.
seemed like scared of Omni-Man, which was interesting. Like,
I mean, he's
Well,
a
'cause
He
demon.
just dies and goes
Yeah,
back
I
to
mean,
hell. Like,
he's like,
yeah,
I
like-
literally am from hell.
Uh-huh.
I've seen much worse than you.
Yeah. And that's another character to go all the way back to supporting characters that we liked. I love Cecil. He's like
oh yeah,
kind of started like whatever, kind of a dick, not super about this guy. And then like by the end of the season, he was one of my favorite characters. He's awesome. I mean, and I always love the Lex Luthor idea. Like Cecil's not a bad guy, but the idea of like how do you fight what's basically a god, you know? Kind of like a Billy Butcher type. And he's just so good at it.
oh yeah.
And I mean, you have to make the hard decisions. Somebody has to, and he
Yeah.
steps up to the plate and makes those hard decisions. You know,
Yep.
Yeah, and
because
when
it's
he's
not fun.
fighting Omni-Man and he's like, or like just talking to him. He's like, you think you can like stop me? And he's like, no, but I can do what I've been doing
Yeah.
this
I can
entire
keep you
time. I
busy.
can
I
slow
keep
you down.
Distracted. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just love his mentality, his position. I love the hiding the lab because of the shit that like
The stuff
Yeah.
in the water.
drinking
So
water.
they
That's
go
actually
into,
kinda
like,
cool.
that was my favorite. We talked about this. We had recorded this podcast before. It was like our tester podcast, our
Yes.
OG. So we had talked about this before, but man, I love that. So Cecil explains they go into this room, Mark Grayson and Cecil, they go into this room. It's all white. There's nothing in there. And then he's like, oh, lights. They flick on something. And suddenly the whole room is filled with scientists and whatever. And they're fixing this and fixing this up and doing new technology. And then he, says lights and it's white again. And Mark's like, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, yeah, no, just every American, there's something in the water so you guys can't see a certain frequency of light. I love that. I'm a
Makes you
conspiracy
wonder.
theorist. Low key, just a little bit. I just love that explanation of like kind of triggering like the
Uh-huh.
fluoride in the water. I thought that was so funny.
Oh yeah.
How it explains the sounds, I don't understand that.
No idea.
Pretty weak explanation, but I loved it. I thought it was fun.
Same stuff, it's just a little chemical cocktail
Yeah.
they got in our water.
One's for sound, one's for light.
Yeah.
So do we want to go to everybody's favorite moment in the show?
Yes, I was just gonna say the deep, dark, twisted truth coming out.
Yeah, like what's like your
Yes.
favorite like point in the show? Do we start with Mike?
Yeah.
Do you have
Oh
one?
yeah.
Or do you want me to start first?
Actually, yeah. You go ahead.
Okay, so my favorite scene was for sure the train scene.
Yes,
I
was
don't
gonna
know
say
how
that.
you watch this show and you don't see that train scene and you're like
Ugh, it makes
enthralled
me
and
hurt.
also like wanting to throw up at the same time because it's so horrible. Like when he's just holding him up into all the people and
Ugh.
just like the camera angle you get from it, and just watching all the people literally just like hit him and explode. Oh, it's so gruesome and so brutal.
And it's so like, yeah, I mean, you get it from Mark's perspective.
And that's
And
what I
he
was
just
talking about,
can't
that
move,
animation.
and like his
Yeah.
body is what's destroying everybody, and
And
it
all he
is-
wants to do
Yeah.
is help these people.
Yeah.
And it's
It is
just-
completely visceral. I remember watching it, and like the whole time, I just was like,
Yeah.
you
and
know,
just like that, how they set it up, like the
Yes.
whole fight, you're like, man, how could this get more fucked up?
and then
I
it
just
does.
have
You're like,
never
oh.
seen that done. I mean, you see,
No.
you see them like go, "Hey, I'm the bad guy," but this
Mhm.
to have your dad, who's your hero, and just a couple episodes ago you said, I just want to be just like you. I want to be like you. I'm trying my hardest. Like, teach me how to be like you. And now your dad is holding your head, and you are just murdering. I mean, hundreds of people.
Dozens, at least.
That's actually a really good point. That scene itself is a lesson to Mark.
Yeah.
Like, just showing the unique power that they have. You know, they're basically invincible. But
Blood splatter.
edit that out. But the fact that it's a lesson to Mark about how he is so much more than everybody else, and he hasn't experienced that. I don't think we could have ever seen something like that in traditional film.
No.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
it was
even
a
with
unique,
CG, they did. You would be pulled out of it because they're trying to make it look real. With
it was
this
a
being the animation, sorry, go
it
ahead.
was a unique like aspect of it being animated that we were able to see something so brutal.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you look at movies like Man of Steel, that those final scenes where Zod is basically taking over, doing the exact same thing, like just, you know, flexing on humanity. But in this, it shows you the bloodbath that would take place if you know,
And
gods
it's
were to come
realistic.
down.
I mean, we are not equipped for this. And Omni-Man's been on Earth for 20 years. And the infrastructure is basically still the same. There's there's no alarms like, hey guys, like, you know, superheroes flying through. There's really no upkeep that we could possibly do as humanity when, like you said, it's gods. I mean, there's really no other way to explain it, you know?
And from Omni-Man's perspective, this scene is basically like holding a magnifying glass to an anthill and just being like, do you see how pointless this
Like,
is?
that's what he's trying
he
to
says
get across.
He
Exactly.
That's why it's
says
so
they're
gory.
so weak. This is why we need to take over them. This is why we need to strengthen them. Look how weak they are and just useless they are. I mean, he steps on a piece of concrete that a man is trapped under and just smushes him while he's telling his son, like, these people are useless. They're hopeless. Like, they are so weak. Like, why can't you just see that we need to do this? And it's we've talked about this before, but it's almost like he's saying it more to himself because he's kind of fallen into humanity and seen humanity as something that has value and worth, even though they are, quote unquote, very weak. His son is a human. His wife is a human. Granted, he does refer to her as a pet later on.
I was going to say, that was the most brutal line I think he could have ever dropped. The look on his wife's face when
It's
she
like,
hears him
of course I
say
love
that,
your mom,
like,
but she's more like a pet to me. It's like,
she was destroyed.
And you just picture a dog where you're like, hey, buddy, you know, and you're like, you simple little thing, you know, like, Could you imagine? Could you imagine if your wife said that to you and you're just like, okay. Like,
no, it's so fucked up. I mean, that scene both visually and
just so candid.
emotionally, and it's so bad.
And J.K. Simmons does such a good job of even just with his voice of just portraying that, like, just that lack of, like, I don't fucking care, you know? Wow. I mean, we could talk about J.K. Simmons all day, I think.
I was going to say,
he was so perfect for this.
shout out to J.K. Simmons. He owned the show.
Oh,
I feel like he's
good.
one of these
Killed it.
guys where, like, when you talk about, like, best actors and stuff, you don't really, his name doesn't get thrown
He's
into
kind
the
of like
hat,
a
but
Margot
it
Martindale.
should. I mean,
He really should.
He really fits that
Absolutely should.
role really well.
If I know he's in it, I'm like, I will love it. I will absolutely love it. Even if everybody else is trash, there's no storyline, it's weak, there's no substance, I will love it because J.K. Simmons is in it. He's so good.
Because of this, Whiplash, and Spider-Man, I feel like he's just remarkably talented at
Juno,
yelling
man,
at teenagers.
he does a good job in
Like,
Juno
that's
too, and he's yelling at her.
his thing, man. He's really good at
He's
that.
got the dad
It's
voice
like, man,
down.
I love him so much as an actor. I don't think I ever want to meet him.
Yeah.
He's so intimidated.
I
Probably
wouldn't
tell
know
me
what
to cut
do.
my hair because I'm a hippie.
Yeah. No, he is so good. I mean, all of the, like, Steve Ewan and I mean, everyone else in this show is great.
Yeah.
It's a good cast and a lot of good voice actors, but, like, I mean, how do you stand out next to that? It's just so good, and the
He owned
character is so good, like, anyway,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no matter who voices him, but then he just brings it to this next level. Yeah, he stole the show for
Sandra
sure.
Oh, she did a good job. And you know what I liked? What I did like about this animation is it was like a real reflection of the voice actors. I mean, not what's the name of Britta from Community?
I don't know what
Oh,
her
I
name
don't know her
is.
name.
That's gonna kill me. I have it here somewhere, but I'll find it later. She's Jillian Jacobs. She's the only one who doesn't really like look like her animated character, but I mean J.K. Simmons looks pretty similar to Omni-Man. Sandra Oh looks like her character.
The mustache.
Mark Grayson looks pretty close to Steve Ewan. I like when they do that because it's almost like bringing them to life. Just kind of like a personal thing of mine that I really enjoy.
Anybody else have like a moment they want to talk about in the show, or?
I don't know if it's my favorite because I didn't prepare one, but just something that I want to talk about. At the end of the episode where Mark gets super fucked up by
Mm.
Lion Guy.
Oh, Lion Guy's so cool.
Lion Guy is super cool.
Mhm.
I wish I knew his name.
Let me do
Lion
some
Guy,
deep
that's
diving.
that
his name.
scene,
Where are you at, Lion Guy?
that scene where it's revealed that Titan is like the new boss, and he's like, man,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't know how you got that kid to work for you, boss. And then like his wife and daughter like come up into the tower, and it hits that song where it's like bow down to the king, and he like
Yeah.
takes the desk. Oh, dude, I love that shit. Like, I was like, I need a show that's just this. Like, I want to see like Kingpin Titan
Yeah.
running the city. Like, that reveal just fucking hit, dude.
Yeah.
I love that part.
Cool.
Favorite
that
part
was a
for
cool
me?
part.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's favorite, but I think it's the most like. Oh, sorry, the dog's barking. If you guys can hear that. It wasn't necessarily my favorite part because it's very dark, but it was like, I don't know, made the show real for me. Is when it's at the end of Mark and Omni-Man or Nolan's fight, and they're on the top of Mount Everest, which has been their like father-son spot while he's training him and teaching him to be like him. That's their special spot, and Mark is just absolutely fucked up. I mean, his lip is split, his teeth are like all gone, his gums are messed up, like each eye is swollen, his arm is busted back, his hands are destroyed, and he's just wheezing. And even though it's a cartoon, you're just looking at it and you're just like, it can't help but bring out the humanity in you. And I think obviously that was intentional, but just to see Omni-Man still going like, why aren't you getting it? You know, you're making me do, and he still is like landing like 1-2. And his son is just wheezing there in front of him. And he's the one who did this. And it's in their special spot. And, man, I don't know.
Oh,
Isn't
man.
that what
And,
they
like,
made the
if we
meme out
talk
of?
about, yeah.
that scene.
And if we talk about favorite scenes, I cannot believe I didn't think of this one immediately. The baseball flashback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
oh,
then
yeah.
While Mark is wheezing, like,
Mhm.
And how, like,
Fuck.
that hits him. And then he, like, stops punching him. And he's like, what are you going to have in, 1,000 years?
Oh.
And he's like, I'll still have you, Dad. And it's
I
like,
literally have
fuck.
goosebumps right now. Oh, God.
no wonder he flew off, dude. How do you
Oh.
deal
Yep.
with that?
Yeah.
He's like,
So
I have full body. My scalp is
Yeah.
going. I have full
That-
body goosebumps.
that scene, so emotional.
like, how do you not cry your eyes out at that? And he just flies away, and you're just like, fuck. And then it's like
when the
hours
blood burns
later.
off him, too.
Yes,
Also cool.
yeah, he flies
Yeah.
out into the
yeah.
atmosphere.
So do we
Gosh.
think that, like, we'll go to the end here. Do
Yeah.
we think that, like, he is changing at all? Do we think that Omni-Man is going to try and, like, switch sides at some point and
I think he's
actually
past
be a good guy?
redemption.
Yeah, I think
You think
so.
he's going to go
I think
back to Viltrumite and, like...
I think he's done too much. Think how many societies. I mean, he blew up that entire Flaxen planet like it was nothing. And yes,
Yeah.
it's not involved with humanity. I think the reason he left is because, like we said, he's trying to convince himself. I don't think he's gonna switch. I think like Parker said, he's too far gone.
I think he's going to switch. I think that he for sure is, because this is the struggle in his head is obviously Earth or Viltrumite, but he's realizing that Earth is his home. It's like it's the people that he wants to be with. Because like after fighting with Mark and like you said, that moment where it switched when he's remembering the baseball scene
Yeah.
and all of that, like he realizes that he might be able to make this work. So I
Mhm.
think he flies away because he's so conflicted. But I think he's going to come back in season 2, and I don't think he's going to be. I think at some point in time he's going to try and help Mark fight against the
I
Viltrumites.
also think that. I want to change my point here. I don't think that he can flip back into being a good person. But what I do think, I think maybe season 2, if I'm predicting final couple episodes, season 2, Viltrum's going to come try to finish Omni-Man's
Mhm.
job.
Yep.
Mark's going to do a good but not good enough job of defending him. He's going to be like about to die, and then Omni-Man's going to come, and the two of them are going to fuck up all these Viltrumites.
Yep.
But what I'm saying is I don't think that he can turn good in the sense that I don't think he'll be accepted. I think it's going to be
No.
a thank you, Omni-Man. Please get the fuck out. Like,
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
done too much.
Or
See,
he'll
I don't even
sacrifice
think it'll be
himself.
that big. I think it'll still be.
You don't think they're going to team up?
I think it will be one small act that helps enough, and then he'll have to just pull himself.
I think
out
he's
of it.
gonna sacrifice. I think he's gonna die fighting the Viltrumites.
I could see him
I could see
sacrificing
trying
because
to
then what is
defend
he? Yeah,
Mark.
yeah,
I think
Yeah.
that's what's gonna happen.
yeah. I don't think that they'll team up.
Yeah. I don't think
I
he's
think
gonna
they're
come
gonna
back and
team
be
I think it's
up.
too much
Omni-Man.
for him to deal with because all he's ever known is world domination and strengthening other races, quote unquote. Like, I think, especially with him leaving, now that he's not going to be as close and see Mark every day, it's going to be kind of easier for him to separate himself. But then when they come back, I think he'll have one small moment
I
where
think
he
I'll
has
miss
to
him.
do something.
I think in a year, all right, We're gonna be celebrating.
It'll be
how
a graduation,
correct
something
my
about graduation.
prediction is. All right, we're gonna be like, wow, Parker.
Okay, I wouldn't
When
go that
Mark was
far.
on the ground, I had a flashback to this conversation here.
I don't know.
And Omni-Man's gonna come. They're gonna fuck up all the Viltrumites together, and I think Omni-Man probably dies. I think that's probably
Yeah.
right.
I
Yeah.
can actually see that.
Dude, you
That-
gotta
Will
see
Mark
them
have to
together.
kill Omni-Man, though?
Especially when Mark's like
No.
full power
No,
Mark.
think
no,
they'll
I don't
team
think
up?
Mark's gonna kill.
No, I
Omni-Man.
think that it's gonna be
No.
freaking
a Viltrumite.
A Viltrumite.
Zod, but
Hmm.
not Zod.
Yeah.
Is gonna be coming at Mark with like a big ass spear.
Hmm.
Omni-Man's gonna jump in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mark's gonna kill Zod.
Because I don't think humanity really stands a chance. And that was kind of proven in
Absolutely not.
that fight. That entire new
We're
cast of
maggots.
Dude, I mean, you're
heroes.
talking about multiple Viltrumites who are as experienced as Omni-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And we don't know
Omni-Man
how
is
old
one
he
of
is.
the
We don't know
top.
how long he's been doing
Omni-Man
this.
is one of the top Viltrumites. Like
Yeah.
he says it, like we are like the elite of the elite in Viltrum.
It's our job to just
Mark
murder.
is thousands of years behind
Uh-huh.
in
Correct.
experience.
But if
to
he
Omni-Man.
if he can, like I was saying, I think in the last recording I kind of brought this up. Like I think another reason why he's doing this is why Omni-Man's doing this is to kind of prepare Earth and try and strengthen them more for what's coming.
And
I think a small part
don't
of
think
him.
so.
You're high.
I think a
yeah.
small part of
You're-
Omni-Man,
no, dude, you're crazy.
No way.
who was stuck in this Earth life, is trying to. At that point in time, he was like, I need to make them better.
I
No.
don't think so.
And so
because then
that's-
why
that's
would
just
you not
my-
kill off some of the weaker ones and keep the stronger? Like they're the best
Because
of
he
the best.
had
the
to
Guardians of the
he had
Globe,
to
you know?
create an opening for stronger people.
So
to
you're
come
gonna
in. He
have
didn't think that
16-year-olds
He
come
didn't
in?
think that they were strong enough. I mean, it's always the trope in those things where like the kids are stronger than the parents because
No, because
they
if you
learn
wanted to
from
do
them
that,
and
you
then
would
they
just,
grow
like-
and become stronger.
No.
I mean, that's more of like a hard sparring scenario. You know, that's
Yeah.
like, hey, Immortal, get in the training out area. I'm gonna show you how fucking weak you are, you little bitch.
yeah.
That's
I
not
don't
a
know.
let me crush
I
Red
don't know.
Rush's head
Yeah.
slowly.
I don't know.
In the
That's just
dust.
my thought on it. I think that it's going to
Think you're
benefit
wrong.
Earth in the long run that Omni-Man is doing this. I think it will make them stronger.
All right.
It totally could.
So,
But is that his intention? No. That's
so
a
in
hot
a year
take.
when I'm right,
Our second hot take.
Hot take number 2 for the day.
Omni-Man, was he actually helping Earth when he murdered all those civilians?
It's like those infomercials where it's like black and white and then like colorful. You know, like they like solve the problem.
Do you guys get a sense that like people have superpowers just because that's the world that we live in, or is there something else to it?
I
In
think
real
it's
life,
just the
yeah.
world.
Yeah,
I don't
Because,
think
like-
there's anything special about them having powers.
Okay,
I
because
don't
I'm like,
think
why do
there's-
non-Viltrumites have powers?
Yeah.
And why do Viltrumites have the same powers as each
I think
other?
it's a like a magical world because I mean
Mm.
they
that's kinda
literally
what I
sent a
think, too.
demon back to
Yeah,
hell.
exactly.
You know,
I
and
don't
it was
think
pretty
that's
I think it's
exciting.
kind
I
of
don't
like
think
no
that's
holds
the point
barred.
of the show.
I was excited for an explanation to that, but yeah, I think it's more just
This is how it is.
I think
Yeah.
maybe
People
too
have
the boys has
superpowers every
tainted
now
us
and
with
then.
that. Where spoilers for the boys if you haven't seen it. That I mean you need to get on it for real. It's too late now.
Yeah.
But you know where they're like actually giving human superpowers. I think maybe we're kind of tainted with that where we're
Mhm.
like need an explanation of powers. Where before like with Justice League and stuff like that, you're just kind of like you got them.
People have powers.
just
You know,
exists.
or you know you
Mm-hmm.
There's
you got
probably
transitioned like X-Men or something.
there's an origin story series for this world somewhere, but we're
Yeah.
just not watching that show.
Yep.
No.
Probably figured all that shit out a long time ago, I think.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else on the show, guys? I think we're pretty.
I think we're
talked it up
pretty,
pretty well.
solid.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have a fun fact.
Okay.
The Mahler twins. I had his name back here. They are played by my things. I think it's oh no, my things
Your
things
computer
froze.
froze.
Anyways, he's the Mahler twins are voiced by Kevin or Kyle Michael Richardson, and he's the voice of Dr. Hibbert on The Simpsons. So I
Oh,
thought that
nice.
was
Oh,
a fun
yeah.
fact.
Yeah, I would never have guessed that.
No, they are not laughing like Dr. Hibbert.
No. Let's do ratings.
Oh,
Start
yeah.
with Mike. Rating out of 10.
Ooh, I'm gonna give it.
I wonder if they're going to be the same as our last time that
Ooh,
we
let's
filmed
see.
this.
Actually, no, I've adjusted since my last one.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Ooh.
give it an 8.
Nice.
Okay.
What'd you
I'm
give
gonna
it
give
last
I
time?
gave it last
I
time.
wanna
Oh,
say I gave it
you
a
were
9.
like a 9.4
9.
or something, right? And I gave 9.2.
Mhm.
But I'm getting more harsh on my gradings only because I have to maintain a high standard
Of course.
for what I consider really really great.
Some
but
sort of integrity.
the 8 I feel is a good number for this show. It was one of those where this is a fresh IP for me,
Mhm.
and it was great. I loved everything about it. There was so many standout characters. The voice acting was great. The art style was interesting enough. And I honestly can't wait for season 2. Season 2 is gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
There's
yeah,
a lot.
What's not to
Roller coaster.
love
Yeah.
about this
Yeah.
show, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ashton?
I will give it. I'll give it an 8.5.
Wow.
I really liked it. I think there were so many moments where it was just so raw and real, and you're like, oh gosh, that sucks.
What was so cool about this one is like, where was the advertising for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and
you
it
just told me that I
freaking
had to watch it.
slaps.
So
I saw like one just image on like Amazon, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, Sergio just told me about it at work.
Same.
And I was
Shout
like,
out Sergio.
okay, I guess
Yeah.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
Good job, Sergio.
I'm gonna be a little different. 7.9.
What?
Ooh.
7.9.
Wow.
7.95. Can I do that?
No,
Just to be different. I loved it. It was great.
it's whack.
It was great.
It's such a cop out.
You're really gonna give it a 7.9? I refuse to believe
7.95.
that. I don't know.
I just wanted to be different. I can't sit here and follow by the 8 that was just given to it.
You
and be
could
like,
give it
"Oh,
an 8.
Nah. I gotta
Do you
be
think
different.
at the Olympics they're like, oh, they all gave them 9s? I don't want.
Absolutely.
I'll give 'em an 8.
If I was
What?
on the Olympic rating community,
Oh,
and,
well, it's a
and,
good thing
and you
you're
go
not.
fucking 9, 9, 9, I'm going 10.
Okay, well at least you're going
Absolutely.
up. This is weird because you're going down, and I don't agree with that.
All right. I'm going to
Third
give
hot
it an
take.
8. All right. I gave it an 8 the first time. So really, it looks like I just copied Mike. Mike's copying me.
See, if I would have done that, yeah, exactly. You
It's
guys
an
would have
8.
made fun of me to no end. Okay.
Anyway,
We'll do it anyways.
no, I
we
think
don't
it's
need
solid.
a reason to make fun of you.
I think it's great. I was kind of trying to explain. It might have been on an episode that we ended up not posting, but that like I try to consider 5 to be okay,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and so like anything above a 6, you're doing pretty good. So
Mhm.
8, I think 8's really good.
No,
I mean,
8 is solid.
8 is like a really solid.
I
show.
mean, if you
kicked
rate
ass.
people, an 8 is nice.
Yeah, out of every like superhero thing I've seen, I mean, 8's got to be one of the highest. I think
Mhm.
I'd probably give
Yeah.
The Boys like a 9.
I would give the boys a 9. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Boys is so good.
The boys is amazing.
Go watch The Boys.
All
Our
right.
Invincible review. Go watch The Boys.
Don't watch anything else but Invincible. Blood.
Yeah.
Cool. No, I think that pretty much wraps it up, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's great.
We will hopefully have this up. Well, when you're watching this, it'll be a day later after we have it up, and then we're going to be recording our review on Mitchell's versus the Machine.
Yeah, Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Yes,
Very
stay tuned.
good.
Once again, please like, subscribe, hit the bell thing.
Yes.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
It helps us so
Boink,
much. I mean, we're
boink.
brand new right now, trying to
Not
make
that-
those moves. Jump on the train, all right? Because we're moving.
Maybe you're on the
All
road
right.
to the
Get on board here.
Tell us what you think
Yep.
down there.
Do you
Yep.
guys
Yes,
know
let
how to
us
say?
know what next shows you want to see.
Yep.
We always do, or I try to do a couple of stories where you can fill in little details on Instagram. So definitely always kind of keep your eyes peeled on the stories. We're going to be posting a video of how we made the Bloody Marys, hopefully somewhat soon. We are still new to this, figuring it out. Hopefully the quality will be okay.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
So good.
It's going to be fantastic. All right.
I think
Well,
that's it.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
That's a wrap. Goodbye.